Hi guys, welcome to another video from Overbite Gaming. I'm a little quiet today because it is 20 to 6 in the morning. I've woken up on my birthday and I decided to do a video for you guys, so enjoy that. So I thought it'd be nice to have a look at Cyberpunk again. A couple of reasons. My brother-in-law asked me if it was any good yet, and I just bought my dad the Ultimate Edition on PS5 for his birthday, which annoyingly is the day before mine. Humph. That's very inconsiderate, but it can't be helped. So I thought we'd have a look at pretty much just the improvements that have been made, and obviously the Phantom Liberty DLC. Now, I've had Phantom Liberty for a while, but I've never really gotten around to playing it. Primarily because I had like a starter character, so I need to play through most of Cyberpunk in order, well, not most, but you know, a good chunk of Cyberpunk in order to get access to the DLC. But let's back burner Phantom Liberty and just talk about the overall improvements that have been made since my initial review back in, I think, December, maybe it came out in January, I don't know, somewhere around December, January of like 2020, 2021, I believe. So, yes, most of what I called out in that video, I actually went back and rewatched it. That was a fun viewing experience for me. I hate watching my own stuff. But most of what I called out in the video, they've kind of dealt with, to be fair. I remember one of my most prominent sort of complaints was the minimap being too zoomed in, and they zoomed it out. You've now got vehicle combat. You've now got repeatable car races. They implemented a metro system, although in the case of the metro system, I understand that they did it because they said they would, so they were keeping a promise, but it's not really got that much facility to me. I mean, it's basically just more fast travel points, and you already have fast travel points. I mean, yeah, okay, you can go on the train, you can, you know, look out the window and look at the inhabitants of the train, which was a very weird experience because there appeared to be a woman sat across from me repeatedly spasming. Hopefully she was having a good time. I couldn't really tell, but there we go. The thing is, it's the weird, wonderful world of Cyberpunk, and you're never really sure whether it's a bug or whether it's intended. So you've got a lot of new stuff added. The romance options have been not necessarily deepened, but you can call them up and have them come over. It's nothing too expansive, at least I haven't found anything that's too expansive. You can basically talk to them, have them sort of rest their head in your lap, shower with them, which is obviously the titillating part, quite literally. Have a dance, look out the window, and go to bed, and you just sleep when you go to bed. Yeah, so there's no repeat hanky-panky or anything like that going on. I think, like, how do I help and how much time? I don't know. Obviously, being a male chauvinist pig, I'd like to see more skin, but you know, can you really justify it just for its own sake? Maybe not. I don't know. I'll leave that up to you to decide, but personally I would like to see a little bit more in depth in sort of the physical romance options, which aren't really there. You can like kiss them sort of chastely twice per visit. I don't know. Maybe I'm just missing something. Maybe there's an interactive point in the apartments where I haven't tried. It's quite nice though. After a while they start leaving you like little gifts. You go out and come back, and then there's like a meal that they prepared for you on the side. You're like, oh, that's quite nice. So it's a nice little step. Speaking of apartments, they also have apartments now, which you can rent. Although it's really more of a purchase because you don't have to pay it like ongoing. It's just a one-time deal. And they're all over the map. You can get some really nice sort of like ones in Corpo territory where it's like obviously very, very luxurious and would probably I would like to live there basically. But there's a few nice ones, there's a few grotty ones as well, but I mean you know, each has its own certain charms, and it's always nice to have a base, and you can send like your romantic partner to those to do your visits to different ones, although they won't go to the Dogtown one, which we'll get to. So basically you have repeatable races now that you can do. So if you enjoyed the Claire Russell storyline where you took the beast around and did races, you can do more of that. So it's really, they've added so much. They've entirely revamped the skill tree. The skill tree makes a lot more sense now. And they've added in like auxiliary skills. So you have like Netrunner or Headhunter, stuff like that, and you get points in that, and you can get points from shards you pick up in that. And then every so often it will go up a level, and you'll get like a little benefit, like extra carrying capacity, extra headshot damage, stuff like that. So it's really been deepened out. The cyberware now has a meter, so you can't just slam yourself full of it. You have to actually balance it out and decide like at what point do I stop being human, kind of thing. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I can't like slamming myself out with cyberware, but I've not really delved into it too much during this playthrough. The stuff I found I've basically applied, but outside of that I'm just like, well, whatever. I've been buying cars and properties and guns and shit instead. So yeah, the skill tree is massively improved. Well done for that. The clothing no longer has like a street cred requirement level, so you can't wear this hat unless you're super cool, kind of thing. It's like, no, you have a head. You can wear the hat anytime you want now. Very few of the clothing items have stat benefits anymore, and they've removed the mod slots entirely. So certain like armor vests will give you a little bit extra armor, but mostly that's more about your implants nowadays than actually what you wear. So it does give you the facility to wear stuff that doesn't look awful, which was a point I made in my original review, in the fact that a lot of the stuff with the best stats was pretty garish and unpleasant to look at, or did not show enough of my character's ass for my liking. I'm playing a man this time around, so it's less of a concern. So yes, moving on. They've done a great job. The stability is there, although interesting enough I am getting slightly less performance than I did. I was kind of shocked because I'm getting like 55, 60 now. When I looked at it in the exact same settings from the launch game, I was actually getting rock solid 60. So I don't know what's going on there. I don't know whether they've implemented a new option that I just haven't turned to what it should be or not. I mean, they have implemented a whole bunch of stuff in there, like DLSS 3, I think Intel XE is on there. So you can like really tweak it still. They've done a great job. But the ongoing support for this game has been fantastic. I wouldn't say it's quite No Man's Sky levels of turnaround, because I did really enjoy the game. I think I gave it an 8.5. I'm not sure I would give it higher than an 8.5 now, maybe a 9. But I would probably shift my original review down, if that makes sense, and probably replace it with this one. I don't know. And then you have Phantom Liberty. Phantom Liberty is basically another third of the game that you could install. It does come with the Ultimate version, and I think it was like 20 odd quid separately. I've had it for a while. I never really got around to playing it because, as I said, I had to go through a fair bit of Cyberpunk to actually unlock it. I've now done so, and I can confirm that it is probably the best part of the game. It does a lot of really good things. Idris Elba is obviously in it, and he's just so tremendously likable in everything he does. It's Idris Elba. I'm happier to see him than I am Keanu Reeves, because he doesn't pop up every 6 seconds and make me throw up in my hands and my vision go shitty, and then have to sit through like this stilted debate about corpo ethics when I just want to go and shoot something. So I kind of like him better from that standpoint. The actual storyline involved in Phantom Liberty, I won't give anything away too much here. The gameplay footage you're seeing is captured right from the start of it, which does unfortunately involve a fair bit of first-person platforming. So you will see me fall to my death probably quite a lot, unless I decide to cut that bit and actually show you something more interesting, which is possible, depending on the length of how long I waffle. So yeah, it is a great story. It's full of intrigue and betrayal and backstabbing. I mean, when it starts out with basically Space Force 1, which is like the equivalent of Air Force 1, the president's plane, goes down in this section called Dogtown, which is essentially its own little fiefdom, sort of separate from Night City. You have to go through a checkpoint like you did when you entered Night City from I want to say the Wasteland, but I don't know what it's called. You know, the place where the nomads are. There you go, that one. So it's really well done. It introduces a few more elements, like you get a new skill tree entirely. The relic actually becomes of some use other than just turning aside a bullet and putting your brain back together. Yeah, so the relic tree, it's not very big, but there are a lot of good stuff in there that you can, like, seriously sort of wipe the floor with people with. There's a skill you can get which basically highlights critical areas on, so like a red diamond will come up on a bad guy, and if you shoot that, it does massive damage and usually has an area effect on it as well, like you're blowing off something integral in their cybernetics. It'll be like a big boom of sparks, or sometimes it's their gun or something that's on their belt or something like that. It's quite well done, and it does add another level to the combat. It makes it more fun, where you could just run through and blow people up. I mean, I'm using a revolver that does ridiculous headshot damage now. I mean, it's only got 6 rounds in it, but that's 6 bad guys down. Whatever. It's just Cyberpunk as a whole, as it stands now, is just so much of a better game. They really, I mean, I was super impressed with what they did. Obviously, I was playing on the PC, not the last gen console versions, and I hear the last gen console versions are pretty much not going to be fixed, at least to what I would consider an acceptable standard. They never should have done that. They never should have tried to have a PS4 and Xbox One variant of this game. It is far too much for those consoles to handle in any capacity. Well, I don't know, let me know if you've got a last gen copy of it and didn't return it, because I'd be interested to know how it actually plays, but that's the skinny I'm getting. But I mean, it is Cyberpunk. If you didn't like Cyberpunk, then I'm not sure it would change your mind. It is still set in the same world. You still have the same story for all of its pluses and negatives. I mean, personally, I don't like stories when you're always on the clock and you're constantly getting interrupted by shit. So that's kind of like one of my bugbears with the Cyberpunk story. Is that, you know, you'll be doing along, you're enjoying doing your missions, and you go to get your next mission, and then Johnny will turn up. And I think that's part of why I don't like Johnny as much as the developers probably want me to, is because he keeps interrupting me all of the time and making me stop what I'm doing. So there's that. I mean, the endings, I mean, there are new endings introduced in Phantom Liberty. I wouldn't say any of the endings are good endings. There's a couple where you're kind of like, well, yeah, that's probably as good as I could have hoped for. But for me, the Alvarado's ending is still my favorite. So make of that what you will. I mean, I've only seen I haven't seen all of the endings because I've completed it a few times because it's a big game. But I will say that ending it speaks to me, and not just because you go off with Pan Am. Because when you're a male character, Pan Am is pretty much the choice. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap up here. I will say, if you are getting the Ultimate Edition on consoles, just be aware that if you're getting on PlayStation, it will come with a code in the box for Phantom Liberty. It's not on the disc. You will need to redeem that on the PlayStation Store in order to access the content. I speak this primarily for my father. If you're buying it on a Xbox Series console, it is on the disc. I don't know why one does and one does not, but there it is. And obviously if you're buying it on PC, you should be buying it digitally anyway, but if you're not, it is also not on the disc, so you have to download it. Little public service message there. But yeah, Cyberpunk, I mean, it's not on the level of No Man's Sky turnaround. Absolutely not. But it has improved a whole bunch. And it's fixed a lot of my complaints from my previous review, and it has also introduced a whole bunch of new content and stuff to do. I mean, there's stuff I haven't talked about, like you can you get jobs to steal cars, basically, return them. and you get discounts for buying cars at Autofixer. I think it's Autofixer, is it? I can't remember. So, stuff like that. It's there's so much to do. I mean, Phantom Liberty itself just introduces a few new job types. There's airdrops and finding secure stashes for relic points so you can upgrade your relic abilities. So I like what they've done with it, and the storyline for Phantom Liberty is probably the best part of the game, if I'm entirely honest, outside of boobs. But yeah, I mean, it's got Idris Elba, so it's a close second to boobs, in fairness. Anyway, guys, I think I've gone long enough. I'm going to edit this while listening to the Believe You Me podcast and drinking a cup of tea. And then I will get on with the business of enjoying my birthday. I hope you have a good weekend, and I'll catch you next time. Take it easy, guys.